Some body lock passing. We're going to work passing off our knees when our training partner is playing butterfly guard. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get hands on my partner. One for offense, like I can use this to attack and start passing. Or if my training partner starts to come up or maybe tries to grab my neck, I can kind of keep my hands on him and move away. So you can grip the ankle, knee or shin wherever you want. And you can see that Darren's playing on one hip, so he's playing on his right side. So normally Darren's going to be posting on his right hand. So this makes it very hard for me to flatten him out at this angle because he uses his right hand to stop him from his shoulders going on the mat. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get my hip square with Darren's hip. The second thing I want to do is I want to win the head position battle. So my forehead is underneath his chin. And the third thing I want to do is I want to get my hands inside. So again, first thing I want to do is win the angle, so our hips are in line. Head position second, and the third thing I want to do is I want to get my hands inside. Once this happens, hands go inside his hands, and I send my forehead towards his chest to flatten him out. So we're going to go into our butterfly guard position. So we'll do that one more time. So again, hands on my partner. We win the angle first, head position second, hands on the inside, and I use my forehead directly into my training partner's chest to drive him down to the mat. So I want to bring his heels up to his butt, where I make it very hard for Darren to take his back off the mat and start sweeping and attacking. And there's a couple of different grips that we can use, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. Head position is really important, so if Darren tries to get up on his side, I'm just going to use my head to keep his shoulders on the mat. When we flatten our training partner out, there's a couple of different grips that we can take. One option is where we get a tight waist grip to start, and then I take an S grip. This can be really good for using your elbow like as a lever to control his knee. So you can see why I'm keeping my left elbow towards my left knee, and then we can start to get our passing going from here. So you can see I can use this elbow to kind of like straighten his leg. I can replace it with my knee and pass. So that's one option. So again, that's basically just when I flatten him out, take a deep tight waist grip, then I join my hands with an S grip, and I can use my elbow as a lever for when we're passing. Second option, I really like this option, is basically like a open grip. So basically when you flatten your partner out, you're just not going to join your hands. You're just going to keep your elbows connected to your knees, hands are tucking inside the lats, and you're going to do the same on the far side. And I'm trying to keep Darren's heels up towards his butt, so if Darren tries to move, I'm just going to follow him, or I'm going to keep following him, keep my elbows connected to my knees. One more option that we have is basically we're going to join our hands, but we're going to kind of join it with flat hands behind his back. You can do an S grip where you're kind of, or similar to an S grip where you're just doing fingers, or you can go palm to palm. This is a really good grip if you're someone that's really strong and athletic. So we'll just bring me in here. When I flatten him out, hands, you can see my fingertips here behind his back. I flatten him out, and then if Darren is like he's a strong opponent and he's trying to fight to get back up, this can be a good option. So if you get up to your seated position, I can turn this into an S grip, and I can suck his hips back in towards me. So what I mean by that is pull his hips underneath my hips here, and then we can start to go back to our tight waist and S grip. So we'll do that one more time. So again, so head position, we take the angle, hands are on the inside, forehead goes into the chest, and then all I'm doing is joining my hands like this behind the spine here. If Darren tries to sit up, so he's framing, sitting up, I can take an S grip behind his back, and then I can pull his hips in towards my hips, and then we can use this elbow for different types of passes. Come into this position here, and we have our hands like joined, or we have like say just our kind of like open grip where we keep our elbows tight to our knees. What you're going to come across a lot is basically, especially when you have like good tight head position, your opponent's probably going to get frustrated, so they're going to start to cross face you. So let's say that Darren cross faces me with his right hand. All I want to do is like take the pressure off my neck, because this is obviously uncomfortable, and I want to kind of take it like across just above my jawline. I'm looking towards his elbow. Normally what he'll do is, if he feels that this isn't causing like any say pressure, he'll pummel through with his left hand. If this happens, I look towards his left shoulder. If he does the right hand again, I look towards his right shoulder or right elbow. So the next thing that he's going to start looking for is either going to be one of two things. Maybe he'll start punching an underhook. So see the way he's looking to get an underhook, and then he can start setting up his different types of sweeps. So So what we do to shut this down, so I'll just spin you around this way here, is we're in our position, we have our grips in place, elbows connected to my knees. When Darren tries to punch a left underhook, so if he goes left underhook, so we just rewind it just for a second, what I want to do is I want to put my shoulder down, so we just go back here, so shoulder down, and then my head goes in, or sorry, my chin goes in front of my shoulder and my head faces the same side he's trying to dig the underhook. So if Darren goes for it, it's a lot harder. So basically what I'm doing is elbows are connected to the knees and then I'm dropping my shoulder down, kind of like what you would on the way you do it like on a head and arm choke or when you're doing a north-south choke. So again, so elbows are in, connected to my knees. I'm going to drop my shoulder down towards his hip and then I put my chin into this little space here. So if Darren tries to dig for an underhook, this should be very hard. Alright, so maybe he's digging now for underhooks, he can't get it, he's looking for his regular kind of cross face, so we're looking towards the elbow. The next thing you're probably going to come across is your partner is just basically just going to kind of like just frame on your face and your head, trying to push you away here. So ideally what we want to try to do is if we can just turn our shoulders and heads and clear the frame, great, but more than likely if he's very aggressive in that, I'm going to push against him, so I'm kind of like leaning my head towards his head. When he starts to push back, all I'm going to do with one hand is pop. Head goes down towards the hip, and then we can go into our different types of passes on which we work in a minute. So again, so Darren is basically just like posting on the head, trying to make everything comfortable. Maybe he's locked out frame, so being really aggressive, so I'll do is I'll push towards him. When he pushes back, just pop, and then hide your head into the same position we're talking about. So shoulder down, chin into that little pocket connected to your shoulder, and then we can go into our passes. So I do the same setup as before. Get my hands on my training partner, so on his shins, his knees, his ankles, whatever works for you. The angle I'm trying to get is basically have my hips in line with my training partner's hips. I win the head position battle, and then like so if me and Darren are kind of like hand fighting, I want to get my hands on the inside. Once my hands go on the inside of his hands, I'm going to like level change and put my forehead into his chest, and then we take one of the grips that we were working. Alright, so just to put this into a drill, maybe Darren tries to sit up again, so he starts to sit up. We can take this S grip, so I'm going like as deep as I can with this right hand, S grip, and then I pull his hips back under towards my hips here. Alright, maybe Darren is like framing like across my head, or like maybe he's putting like a regular cross face. I'll just kind of look towards the elbows. But if he's like putting his palm on my head and that, what I'm going to do is keep the tight waist grip, pop the elbow, and then I hide my chin and hide my head. If he tries to cross face me now, this is a lot harder. Alright, so keep your left elbow connected nice and tight. So I'm going to try isolate his right leg, keep it on the inside. Really important detail, we're going to do a hip switch. I'm in butterfly guard. I'm going to try get to a position where we have our two knees on his one shin. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to straighten my right leg. I'm going to do a hip switch onto my left side. That's going to bring Darren's right leg towards my right leg. Here. Alright, my right leg is straight. I go to two knees on one shin. Keeping the elbow nice and tight to your knee, keeping this leg isolated. Then what we do is we sprawl out at an angle from where his hip to his knee is pointing. So this angle here. So we sprawl, and I keep all the weight on his hip and his knee. Alright, what we start to do now is circle, keeping our hips nice and low. I want to get my knee past his knee. We still have our elbow in place. When I'm ready to pass, I'm going to look to the opposite side, keep my ear down on his hip. I go up on my toes, my left knee is going to connect to his quad. So I'm going to get his knees either facing the ceiling or even better away from me. Once I get this, I switch my left knee with my right knee. Here. Long, wide base. You can see I'm stepping on my left leg. Darren tries to come up on the side. Hand goes on the inside. And we go 12-6 down the spine. And now we're in a great position to start attacking. So we'll do this one more time. So again, so we get our position, head position, hand position. We flatten our partner out. Maybe he sits up. Here, take your S grip, bring the hips in, bring his hips in under yours. Maybe he's framing on your head, so he's trying to push you away. Keep the tight waist grip, pop, hide your head, drop your shoulder. Elbow connects to your knee. Now again, the hip switch is going to look like this. We straighten our right leg first, then I'm going to do a hip switch with my left hip to the floor. So I'm going to feed Darren's right leg over towards my right leg. Here. Two knees on one shin, and now we sprawl. My goal when I sprawl is to get his knee on the floor with kind of my hips and my belly. I start to walk and I make sure that my knee clears the line of his knee. Once this happens, I look to the opposite side, and then my left knee is going to point his knees and hips up towards the ceiling or away from me. So I bring my weight forward. This puts his top shoulder on the mat, left knee's in place. Switch it with your right knee. Big step with the left leg. Partner tries to turn in, and then we're going to get our crossface where we go 12 to 6 down the spine. So now we're ready to start attacking from here.